Hey guys, what's going on? Hey guys, what's going on? Brendan Esguerra here, and today, um, I'm sorry if I don't look so good. It's because, well, I don't. The reason why I don't look so good and I don't sound so good, and I'm in my pajamas is because I just woke up and it's morning. So anyway, the reason why I haven't uploaded any videos yet is because I've been busy. I've been in and out of places. I just recently got out of Las Vegas and I've been in and out of Vegas for quite a while. And I didn't get COVID. No. I've been busy. I've been in and out of places. I just got out of Las Vegas and I've been in and out of Vegas, and I've also been shopping and eating out, and that's the reason why I haven't posted any new updates about my Adventure Time production diary slash behind the scenes documentary slash vlog series about it. Um, so I'll post some new videos on that pretty soon, and and I'm also still doing my Spider-Man project, which I'm going to put in a new direction, but let's not get into that just yet. For right now, well, I'm going to be talking to you about Adult Swim Jr. April Fool's Day just happened and Adult Swim Jr. happened. Well, for all things considered, I think Adult Swim Jr. is a bad idea. Because, just hear me out, Adult Swim is called Adult Swim for a reason. It's called Adult Swim. It's for adults only. It's not for kids, but they're trying to make something kid-friendly and sugarcoat all of their adult-oriented shows and marketing them towards children. And I honestly think that's a bad idea because it's literally, for a programming block, literally called Adult Swim. And what they did was weird and cringe, and the worst part, they've ruined Rick and Morty with something called Rick and Morty Babies, where they dubbed the entire show with a bunch of kids. And of course, I'm not gonna lie, I actually enjoyed Rick and Morty as is, even though it's not for kids. And me and my brother actually enjoyed it, but Adult Swim Jr. ruined it. Just like how 4Kids Entertainment ruined One Piece and Dragon Ball Z Kai. And they also did something with Aqua Teen Hunger Force called Aqua Child Hunger Force, or Aqua Baby Hunger Force, or Aqua Kid Hunger Force. I don't know what the hell it's really called. I don't know what the hell it is, but they've done the same thing with Aqua Teen Hunger Force. So all in all, Adult Swim Jr. is a bad idea. This is even worse than any of Cartoon Network's reboots, such as Teen Titans Go, Powerpuff Girls, Ben 10, and Thundercats Roar. In fact, it actually makes Teen Titans Go, Powerpuff Girls, Ben 10, and Thundercats Roar look like great shows. And it's even worse than what 4Kids Entertainment did to One Piece and how they edited and censored Dragon Ball Z Kai. And honestly, Adult Swim Jr. can't work. because they can't sugarcoat their adult-oriented shows and market them towards children, because that crosses the line with the FCC and censors and of course the parents. Can you imagine if they did a Playboy for kids? I mean, as in porn and sex movies for kids? That's a bad idea, because kids shouldn't be exposed to nudity of any kind. And or if they did a Girls Gone Wild for kids, which I'm assuming is child porn, and that cannot happen because that's not right. Child porn is a bad idea. It's sick, disgusting, and perverted. And I don't just mean child porn involving teenagers, but I also don't mean kids who are like babies or toddlers, but I mean kids who aren't even babies or toddlers, but also kids who aren't even teenagers yet. Child porn of any kind is not good. It's sick, disgusting, and perverted. It's gonna be just like that one pornographic billiard game released on the PSP that featured a 17-year-old girl modeling for the game, and she exposed her breasts, and the makers of that game got into trouble for child porn charges because the model was underage, and the game got banned, and it wasn't even released at Toys R Us or KB Toys or any other place that sells not just video games but also toys. Because those places are usually either family friendly or even kid friendly, and they don't want to sell anything pornographic or anything either M rated or even AO rated. And I honestly think Adult Swim Junior is a bad idea, and this cannot happen. This cannot work. It's a bad idea. I think Adult Swim and Cartoon Network have really crossed the line, and they should stop with the Adult Swim Junior thing. This cannot go on, and Adult Swim Junior must be canceled. If this is an April Fool's joke, then it's gotta stay an April Fool's joke, because Adult Swim Junior cannot work. It's not a good idea, it's a terrible idea. And let's be honest, nothing lasts forever. And also, I'm going to be talking about Adventure Time Distant Lands, and honestly, it's sad, traumatizing, depressing, bleak, and not appropriate for kids because of the fact Finn still lost his arm, Jake is possibly dead, and of course Marceline and Princess Bubblegum's lesbian relationship. And don't judge me, I am not homophobic. I'm not homophobic. I'm not. I just think lesbian and gay relationships are a taboo subject, and not a lot of kids' cartoons can easily get away with that stuff, and the only ones I could think of as of right now are the new She-Ra Princess of Power cartoon on Netflix, and of course that episode of Arthur with the gay wedding, and of course Steven Universe, though it's most likely because of Steven Universe being targeted more at girls, because of most of the main characters are female, except for the titular character Steven, and 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 they're also trying to censor Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn's relationship, and they cannot censor Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn's relationship because I'm not homophobic and I think Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn should be together, and Batman already has a lot of adult themes in it anyway. Hell, even some of the kid-friendly depictions of Batman still have some of those adult themes in them. Yeah, so I think Poison Ivy and Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn should definitely be a couple. And they should not censor Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn. In fact, they'd rather censor I mean, they'd rather censor Princess Bubblegum and Marceline because Adventure Time was actually made for children. And just like with the Teen Titans, if Adventure Time is a kids cartoon, then it should continue being a kids cartoon. And let's not forget the final episode of Adventure Time Come Along With Me, especially with the ending where it's of course also sad, bleak, depressing, unhappy, traumatizing, and not appropriate for kids. Especially with the ending where Princess Bubblegum and Marceline kiss each other on the lips, and of course how Shermie and Beth replaced Finn and Jake, as well as the bleak, desolate, and dystopian setting of the land of Ooh in the future. Which is sad, depressing, bleak, traumatizing, and not appropriate for kids. So for any kids who like Adventure Time, just like with Interview with the Vampire and Where the Dead Go to Die and even Macbeth, please, for any kids out there who like Adventure Time, no child should ever see Adventure Time Distant Lands or the final episode of Adventure Time Come Along With Me. For any kids who like Adventure Time out there, just wait for the Adventure Time reboot. Just wait for my Adventure Time reboot. Because yes, I'm working on an Adventure Time reboot, my Adventure Time reboot, and I've been working on it for like more than 4 years, like maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 or 10 years. And that's what I've been working on right now. I even posted videos about it as well as Instagram posts, and of course it's going to be good, and it's going to be lighthearted, kid-friendly, happy, high energy, and of course more appropriate for kids. And I even posted some Instagram updates about it, and I'm currently working on it. And also I'm also planning to work for Cartoon Network since I graduated Miller. And also, for one of my projects on Cartoon Network, I'm also working on a project based on my favorite childhood cartoon on Cartoon Network, Ed, Edd, and Eddy, which I'm working on right now. It's called Ed, Edd and Eddy Aftermath, and it's gonna be a revival special, and it does not continue from where Ed, Edd and Eddy's Big Picture show left off, because that's not the true canonical ending to Ed, Edd and Eddy. And is my Ed, Edd and Eddy revival special going to be a sequel or a reboot? Actually, it's going to be a semi-sequel, semi-reboot, just like some of the recent Bryan Singer's X-Men films in the past years, such as X-Men First Class, X-Men Days of Future Past, X-Men Age of Apocalypse, and Logan. and it's supposed to be the true canonical ending to Edda and Eddy. And like I said, it does not continue from where Edda and Eddy's Big Picture show left off, but it continues from where the Edda and Eddy episode Take This Ed and Shove It left off, where the Eds became old, and in Edda and Eddy Aftermath, Eddy is still old, but he's in a post-apocalyptic version of the cul-de-sac, and he's trying to find a way to reverse time and go back to the past and reunite with Ed and Double D and be a kid again. That's right, be a kid again. So there could be a happy ending. And of course, my Edda and Eddy reboot, even though it's gonna be more darker and more serious, more darker and more edgier than the original Edda and Eddy. I know what you're thinking. The plot sounds suspiciously a lot like Samurai Jack Season 5 on Adult Swim, except it's not for adults, because while my Edda and Eddy revival special is more darker and edgier than the original Edda and Eddy, it's still a pretty light-hearted and kid-friendly cartoon, and sure, there are a few sad undertones and even a few scares, but no adult content. Because dark doesn't have to mean like depression or gore. There are some sad undertones, but there will still be happy moments as well as a few, and a little bit of humor like you would find in an episode of the original Edda and Eddy, the same exact humor as the original Edda and Eddy, and of course it will have a happy ending, because much like Edda and Eddy's Big Picture show, yes, the Eds have been through hell, but they'll find happiness, and of course it will have a happy ending. But I'm not going to get into too much detail about the plot because of spoilers. But I will show you some concept art I made for it, because I've been working on it right now. Let me, just give me a little bit of a minute, there. As you could see, I made some concept art for it. I'm showing it to you right now. I don't know if you could see it from this angle. There. This is for Eddy's headpiece, and I know what you're thinking. And just wait. And right here, I also made concept art for Eddy's post-apocalyptic adventure costume. You could see it right here. And I know what you're thinking. He looks suspiciously a lot like Wolverine. Well, that's because I kind of made him into a parody of Wolverine, because it is a parody of the new Bryan Singer's X-Men films, not the MCU ones, but X-Men First Class, X-Men Days of Future Past, X-Men Age of Apocalypse, and Logan. And I've also made a full concept art right here. Yeah. There you could see it in so much detail. And he's supposed to be like a cross between Wolverine, Optimus Prime from Transformers, and a ninja. Yeah, a ninja. And I've also made a concept for Ed, and you could see it like right here. And I know what you're thinking. Ed looks like a robot, specifically a transformer. Well, that's because Ed died of old age, but he comes back as a ghost, but a friendly ghost to help Eddy, but he can't help Eddy physically because he's immaterial. He's a ghost. So he ends up possessing a robot, and that's why Ed looks like a transformer. Well, he's sort of looks like a cross between Bumblebee and Springer and Crosshairs. And I was pretty much going for a Michael Bay Transformers movie look. Well, it's actually a hybrid between the Michael Bay movie Bumblebee and the Travis Knight Bumblebee movie Bumblebee. And what vehicle mode he transforms into? He actually transforms into a Nissan GTR. And I've also made concept art for Double D right here. And I know what you're thinking. This is obviously a girl. Well, that's because Double D died of old age, and of course, this is not the real Double D, but this is actually a girl named Delilah Dawn, whose first and last initials begin with D, and it makes two D's, and then it makes Double D, and she ends up getting the nickname Double D, and she ends up using it as a badge of honor, to honor the original Double D, to pay tribute to the original Double D, and then takes on the mantle of Double D, which is why she's wearing Double D's hat, and of course some clothes that are similar to Double D. Sort of like how Miles Morales becomes Spider-Man, or Terry McGinnis becomes Batman. And I've also made some other concept art, like right here you could see, my post-apocalyptic Eddy, but in the style of the original Edda and Eddy, because that's the style I'm going to go for, the original Edda and Eddy art style. And this is an idea of what the post-apocalyptic cul-de-sac would look like in this concept art. There's like soldiers, and zombies, as well as Dexter and Dee Dee in their monster. Dexter and Dee Dee in their monster forms, because they're actually going to appear in the Edda and Eddy revival special as villains, monsters for the Eds to battle. And you could also see those killer robots from Dawn of the Eds, and there's also a full moon with bats flying, a witch on a broomstick, a fighter jet, paratroopers, and you could see some ghosts. You could also see some, ghosts. And then there's also some names written in the pavement. Like Sarah and Jimmy, Johnny 2x4, as well as a memorial to Plank, because he also died of old age. I don't know if you could see it, but and then there's a sign that says Peach Creek, welcome to Peach Creek, and it's covered in giant spiders. And also on one of the post-apocalyptic soldier survivor guys, I drew a Ben 10 Omnitrix symbol on his armor, because Ben 10 is also gonna be in the Edda and Eddy revival special, along with Grandpa Max, Gwen, his cousin Gwen, and of course several Ben 10 villains, as well as Kevin Levin. And that's pretty much an idea of what the post-apocalyptic cul-de-sac would look like. And I'm also doing this drawing, this concept, that being, of course, the Peach Creek Cemetery, where it's been taken over by zombies. And of course, there are the graves of almost all the Edda and Eddy characters except Eddy, because he's still alive but old. And of course, Ed, because Ed does come back as a ghost, but he ends up possessing a robot, so he ends up being reincarnated as a transformer like robot. So yeah, that's pretty much my Edda and Eddy revival special, which is one of my Cartoon Network projects that I'm working on. And I also have other projects for Cartoon Network, such as my my Totally Spies reboot, as well as my Bionicle TV show adaptation, and as well as some projects for original shows on Cartoon Network, as well as some projects for Adult Swim. So yeah. And also, I'm going to be talking about Spider-Man No Way Home. And about Spider-Man No Way Home, well, I actually hate it because I honestly think Spider-Man No Way Home is stupid. The plotline and what they're doing is stupid, and they can't actually include Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in it because, one, Tobey Maguire is too old to be Spider-Man now. He's like in his early 40s. And they can't include Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man neither, because there's a reason they didn't include his Spider-Man in the MCU in the first place, which is why they decided to reboot Spider-Man again with Spider-Man Homecoming. And not only that, they're going to shoehorn a bunch of villains in it, and it's pretty much going to end up like Spider-Man 3. Not just because of the part that they're going to shoehorn a bunch of villains in it, but it's also going to be a terrible movie like the original Spider-Man 3. And not only that, the MCU, as of right now, is also terrible. Because Thor is all fat, disgusting, and smelly, and Hulk lost his arm, and Black Widow is dead. And of course, the MCU is filled with depression and gore. Because of how, Red Skull, because of the ending of Avengers Infinity War, as well, and not only it's filled with depression and gore, it's also traumatizing because of how Red Skull tore off his own, because of what happened at the end of Avengers Infinity War, as well as Red Skull tearing off his own face when he becomes Red Skull, and he actually tore off his own face. And of course, let's not forget that zombie Iron Man in Spider-Man Far From Home. Honestly, I think Spider-Man No Way Home should be canceled, and also all those new Marvel movies in Phase 5, including Thor Love and Thunder, as well as Shang-Chi and the Seven Rings, should all be canceled. And not only that, they can't do Spider-Man No Way Home, not just because of all those other reasons, but also because of the pandemic. Honestly, I think the MCU Spider-Man No Way Home in Phase 5 should be canceled, and they should reboot the entire MCU, and they should reboot Spider-Man again, with a new actor as Spider-Man, and a new director, and a completely new and fresh new start, and a new feel. And of course, the new Spider-Man reboot being, much like the Venom movie with Tom Hardy, and its sequel, Venom Let There Be Carnage. And of course, they should also reboot the entire MCU, everyone, including Iron Man, Black Widow, Thor, Captain America, everyone. Because let's be honest, nothing lasts forever. It's that simple. Nothing lasts forever. So anyway, I'm gonna end the video here. Until next time, this has been Brendan Esguerra, signing off. So yeah, there you go. There you go. That was a mouthful. And this has been Brendan Esguerra signing off. So until then, have an awesome day, stay safe, and I hope you like it. This has been Brendan Esguerra signing off. Peace out.